Hey everyone, this is Scoopman 5000. We're back for another video, and this one's a doozy. These are the brand new, hot off the truck, theatrical, Target Exclusive Batman figures. So we got Keaton, 1989, with the Wingsuit. We got Batman Begins Batman, that has a gold label, the Dream Demon, and we got Dr. Crane, Scarecrow. Originally, I was going to review Power Girl for this video and that wave of collector edition, but let me tell you, the story I went through to get these figures, it's one of those days I really question, why am I even collecting? Went the night before to a Target. They had just gotten them on the truck. They wouldn't give them to me. So I, like a psychopath, waited all night, didn't sleep, went back at 8 in the morning. We can't find it. So I had a lead on some other Targets. I'm going out. While I'm doing this is like Gotham City. The cowardly and suspicious lot is out there. The scalpers, they're out. I'm in Target. We ask if someone could go find this box. While that person's going to look, somebody else comes out with that box. And there's a guy that snuck in and got to the box right before I did. But I was in the store previous, a little tug of war action. And it's like, man, I think this guy was a seller too because he wanted both Scarecrows. The box luckily had two. So I did leave that Target with Keaton, with Scarecrow, with Batman. But I didn't get the gold label. So the psychopath continued and he went to another Target. And luckily this was like the last one that was there. The gold label Batman. So the set has been complete. It was a long and arduous road. So we're going to open these guys up. We're going to take a look, flip it around, and we're going to start out with Keaton. We're kicking things off where it all started with the Keaton Batman and a whole bunch of accessories here. Collector edition worthy. So you got to start with the hands. On the figure, you get some grip. You get a pair of fist hands. You get a right grappling hand. You get a smaller grip hand. And then you do get an open hand. You're going to need all those hands because he does have a lot of parts. Comes with two throwing stars. I don't remember these from the movie. You get what looks like a remote batarang. You get the little remote that he talks into for the car. And then you get a nice bat grapple with the golden hook. The last accessory is the entire sole reason to buy this. That is these poles with a handle on them. And what you do is you hold them in his hands, you loop them into the cape, and you create this beautiful flying pose when he jumps off the rooftops. And you can perfectly recreate this. This is honestly blowing my mind looking at it, and it went from a figure I already had I wasn't that excited for like this is seriously one of the coolest things in my DC Multiverse collection. I thought the cape was going to be wired, but it's accomplished by this pole system, which is sort of accurate. That's how it would be in real life. That being said, like really not much else at all to go over because we do have essentially the same figure, and I don't think much to do other than bring in that version. So this one, the colors are a little different. You see the chest emblem especially is a flat yellow. Black comes out more bold as a result. The finish on both of them, like this one just seems darker, blacker. Colors definitely look better on this new release, but otherwise it really is the same thing. On the original, it's sort of a almost like microfiber feeling cloth. This one, it's a bit more rigid. It has more of a shine to it, but that does allow you to get this awesome winged pose. So I mean, there's a close-up look. I mean, it does capture Keaton. The only thing I'll say about this mold and this version of the figure, it doesn't capture the fat neck of the Keaton Batman, right? And that's so we can get head articulation. But guess what? He wasn't articulating in the movie. This was not possible. So I wouldn't mind if this was a solid piece, honestly, because that's what this version of Batman does. He doesn't turn his head. Now we bring in the Flash version of Keaton. Obviously, it's a bit of a different suit, closer to Batman Returns, but I think the way they accomplished the head here, he does have that fat neck. Now, it does articulate exactly the same, the way it's sculpted, and I just think in general, the proportions here, the likeness on the face, I think this captures Keaton better. And since I have him handy, here we go with a couple other 89 Batmans. This is the NECA version, bootleg, don't tell anybody. And then this is the Mezco 1/12 collective. And you can see on both of these figures, they opted not to have head articulation. It's a solid piece up top. And that's how it should be, because that's what Keaton was doing. My camera really does not want to focus on Dr. Crane today, but there we go. Dr. Crane, the Scarecrow, and he's in his nice dapper suit. This does say it's from Batman Begins on the trading card. I don't know where this artwork comes from. It looks new. But in my mind, this was the beginning of the Dark Knight when he's getting chased down in the parking garage. But you guys can let me know, is this accurate to Batman Begins? But I think this is an upgrade from the previous Scarecrow. Again, we're just going to bring in that figure off the rip here. See, he is using the same legs. It's going to be hard for this guy to stand because the drawback of this Scarecrow, while he might be a bit more toyetic in a straitjacket, is a big, heavy piece. You know, it has some nice sculpt, it has some nice wash, but he really doesn't stand up. He looks best when he's on a Dark Knight Returns horse or something like that. But I think having a nice suited Scarecrow, I think I associate this look more with the Scarecrow from these movies. For his accessories, it's just the hands on the figure, and then you get an alternate set of hands. So when we do compare the head sculpts, you'll see they are the same. Now this version of Scarecrow was sort of meant to be while he's a hallucination, right? Like you're looking at him and he's growing these maggots out of his head. That was represented in the sculpt, but they used the same sculpt. So all those little bugs are still sculpted in here. Now, I mean, benefit of the doubt, it just looks like tattered up canvas, which is what the mask is. So into the suit, like I said, he's reusing the leg, and it's getting hard to tell with these suit bodies, but this does look new to me, the rest of them, the arm. And this is a pretty proportionate suit, at least the top half. I mean, the legs are a bit gangly. And one final note, he does have a nice kind of brushing on the top of his shoulders there to represent some dirt, and I appreciate that. It does elevate this figure just a little bit from being a guy in a suit. And here he is with the other versions we have, the original release and the Jokerized version. I really just whipped this guy out because I never reviewed him. And how awesome is the Jokerized Scarecrow? This one along with Two-Face are definitely my favorite of any of the Jokerized figures. Here we got Two-Face, and we got the Joker. And then here he is with Lucius Fox and with Bane. Then finally here he is with the Dark Knight version of Bruce, of Batman. Let's cap it off with your Batman Begins Batmans, and I'm pretty devastated right now because I just snapped the shit out of the wrist peg on my Nightmare Dream Demon Batman, but the show must go on. So for these figures, identical accessories. So on the figure is a trigger and a fist. When you very carefully swap the hands, you do get a right hand that has 3 batarangs. It's ready to threaten somebody with them. And I thought this was just another fist, but if you look, he is holding a grenade in his hand, but it is not painted. He's also got the Dark Knight's version of the grappling gun. We've seen this before, along with the batarang. And here we are, the Batman Begins version of Bruce. Now, the previous figure did represent Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returns. There's not much difference between those movies. But this one, we get the Begins version. Now, we'll start out with the regular, not with our broken Nightmare version. Now, the head is reuse here, and I don't agree with that because, again, the Batman Begins suit had a fat neck. He could not turn his head. That was a plot point in the Dark Knight. So this is a very Dark Knight cowl on sort of a strange Batman Begins costume. It isn't all black. Like, if you look at this, it's Batman Begins, right? But when you get up closer on the details of it, something's off with the detailing. The way that the chest armor separates and it has this underneath texturing, I feel like that wasn't really in the movie. To me, Batman Begins suit is very smooth and it looks like it's all kind of one piece. It wasn't plated up like this. Again, that was in the Dark Knight and it was a plot point. Lucius Fox made him a plated suit. So I feel like there's some artistic liberty being taken, especially with this upper chest, shoulder area. Something looks off to me. I'm not a huge stickler for these things, honestly, but I know there's people out there that's going to bother. Definitely looks like the same belt is being used, but somehow they got it onto a different crotch. And then maybe these knees are the same. Maybe the butterflies in the shoulder. So definitely some parts being shared and maybe as a detriment to the design of Begins. Cape is a similar material, but it is softer than the Keaton one, and this one has the proper wire in it. So you can get some nice posing with that. So yeah, man, Batman Begins Bruce. This one's going to be a regular release. And then at Target, you're going to find, hopefully, the gold label. And you're going to be very careful when you go to swap the hands out. Snapped the hand right off of the body here. And after all the effort I went through just for this guy, I was very excited. I'm honestly pretty crushed. So let's get this over with. That head sculpt is the name of the game here. And that's beautiful, right? It's like almost gargoyle-esque. This is when Batman turned Scarecrow's fear gas on him in the movie. Iconic moment. Now this came with a Mafex version, and I never got that, and I was like, man, that's cool. And now we have a nice DC Multiverse, a bread and butter version. And I was gonna say I couldn't be happier, but I think I could be a little happier if he wasn't broken. Another difference with the figure, and that's this one has a nice wash, a nice dry brushing over it, stone color, a bluish gray. And that does make a big difference, man. Like, they do look like two different figures, unless you really get up close and start comparing sculpting details. But I really do love the look of this guy. It's a shame that he broke, but I think there is a solution. I do have a pin vise, so I can try to repair it. But even if that fails, I'll just get another version of this Batman, do a little forearm swap. Honestly, I didn't show articulation for the other figures. I mean, we'll look at it briefly, but I don't know. Do you guys want articulation segments in the videos? When I look in the analytics, these things are always skipped. Just kind of show off a brief range of motion. Meaning all McFarlane's kind of move the same, right? So let me know. Is that important to you guys? Have you noticed I've been skipping over it? So we'll go ahead, we'll compare them with the other Dark Knight Brucey figures here. So around the same size, that's good, and you can definitely see how much more plated up and armored the Dark Knight suit became as the movies went on. And let's put him in with his pal Lucius. This one is the Begins version in the white tux and the original Scarecrow. Finally, here's the whole wave together, and honestly, the Keaton Batman is the sleeper of this set because of that cape accessory. Really elevates it. And otherwise, these Batman Begins, these Dark Knight trilogy figures, some of the best from McFarlane, but a gigantic shame that the wrist broke. I'm gonna have to do a little repair job. Let me know if you want to see that. Maybe I'll do a little YouTube short ski. But that's gonna do it, man. I went on an odyssey to get these figures, lost sleep over it, almost got into a fight. One of them broke on me during this review. I'm going through it. I'd appreciate if you guys show some support. Let me know your thoughts on this wave and collecting in general, you know, man. Going to stores at 8 a.m. This shit's crazy. I'll leave it off with any pictures, any spinnies that I took, and I'll see you guys in the next video.